No, honestly, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect us to lose by more than one score. I know. I know. Anyway, hello, your resident disappointed, son here. Anyway, so, Nebraska did a loss, which is not good. It wasn't as painful as the Minnesota game because it wasn't close. What was painful is the fact that Sims is not the guy. We chose the wrong person. Keith Thompson is with FAU. He's not like doing overall the greatest, but he's doing better than what Sims is doing. He's not actively giving away the game to the other team. And now has some sort of injury that probably won't last that long. But you might as well say he's out for 3 weeks because, dear God. But hey, you did it, Nebraska. You defied all expectations. You didn't lose by one score. Now, I just, I've already covered this topic, and if you're wondering where I'm getting that, I'm just getting it from like the r/CFB thing. But I don't care. So, how do I think of this game? Well, I think that this is a terrible offensive game. If you're looking at this game from purely an offensive perspective, both teams, they didn't do the greatest. Colorado merely scored 36 points because our offense handed them the win. Just gift wrapping it to them. They didn't even need to score anything on their own. They didn't even need to drive down the field for their own stuff. They didn't need to. Because we did it in here. We did it. We gave him enough points. But the defense, they did their best. And this is starting to be really familiar with the with the late 2000s Nebraska team. Defense plays great. Offense barely exists. I feel like at some point we're going to have a game similar to the 9-turnover game against Iowa State sometime in our Big 12 window or something. Where our defense is gonna hold as much as possible, but the offense just fumbles it away constantly. Now, I will give Colorado some credit. Colorado played a really good game. And Dion does seem like a decent coach. He seems like he can do what he wants to do. Time will tell if he can actually play with the big dogs, but he played well against mediocre competition. Just don't lose to USC by like 50 and it'll be fine. Anyway, so I'd like to address this thing right here, this right here. So I don't think most of this garbage is Matt Rule's fault. When he dialed up plays, he dialed up plays really well. But you can't stop anyone from fumbling the ball 4 times in a game. Almost 3 times in like one half. I mean, that's probably a bit exaggerated, but it was missed snaps, all that stuff. But the one thing that I can that I will knack off of him is that he kept in Sims until the 4th quarter when he got injured. You don't do that. You do not do that. I'm sorry. You cannot keep him in there after you end the half with multiple thrown away drives that gave points to Colorado. You just can't give, even if it is a, quote, close game. In reality, it's not a close game. Harvard looked okay. I mean, he wasn't like overall the greatest, but he looked like he could actually hold on to the ball, which seems like a stupid problem. But apparently, Anthony Grant got benched for this game for fumbling the game away last week. Yeah, obviously, he fumbled the game away. But are you gonna bench it? Are you gonna bench Sims for that as well? You're gonna have to bench Sims for that because he seemingly cannot take the ball from shotgun. He can't. He simply can't. So I don't understand. I don't understand what this team needs to do. I guess this team needs to figure out what the hell to do on offense. Satterfield needs to just tell Matt Rule straight up that Sims needs to not play. He just needs to not play. He simply has too many turnovers. I don't know how he didn't look at the amount of turnovers that he had when he was at Georgia Tech. He leads the NCAA right now. The NCAA in turnovers. That is just bad. That is just bad. But the turnovers, man. I can't express enough how demoralizing it is as a defensive player to see that you're going to have to go back out there after a minute because your quarterback cannot handle a snap. That is the bare minimum of being a quarterback. At least having the ball in your hands. And you can't do that. That is demoralizing for defense. That is why we let up this amount of points. Because the defense was like, oh crap, we're gonna die. And that was their mentality. And you know what would change this? You know what this would change? Tune-up games. I'm sorry to like all the people that are like, they don't like tune-up games. But teams like Nebraska need him. Teams like Nebraska need games against opponents that aren't necessarily that high caliber. I'm sorry. We need to face teams like the next 2 games on our schedule. Northern Illinois, LA Tech. And at this point, I don't even know if we can win these. Against a team that just lost to Southern Illinois, I don't know if we have a chance of beating said team. I don't know. What do we need to do? What is happening? Why? But alright. I just have to put myself a reality check. We just have to vibe in this hell that we are in. Because there's no way of getting out of it this year. What Deion Sanders did was do a rebuild real quick. What Matt Rule is trying to do is do a rebuild slow. So year 1 is not going to be the greatest. I feared it coming into the season, and it's showing. Matt Rule had like a combined 2-3 wins with his first year teams in college. That's not much. That is not much in the slightest. It's just an embarrassment. It's just an embarrassment for this team to keep stumbling over themselves. But we'll just have to vibe in this hell. Just have to vibe in hell. Just vibing in hell. But we have another game next week. This time against the team that lost, SIU. NIU. My buddy's team, who is not excited in the slightest. And that's why I vote this game Sicko's Game of the Week. Because, my God, neither team is going to have an offense. I looked at the game footage. Rocky Lombardi, 7th year. He used to be on Michigan State. He looked... He didn't look too great. But I don't know. I don't know. It's entirely possible that this team will not win a single conference game. It's an entire possibility that we will win 0 conference games this year. 0. I don't think a Big Ten team has done that in years. And yet we're probably going to end up in that situation by November. Which is unfortunate. That would guarantee a double-digit loss season. Which would be worse than every other year. Just a downward spiral that seemingly has no end in sight. But it's only 2 games in the season. We can improve. How do we improve? Okay. We start Harburg. Sims, he doesn't seem to know how to throw the football. He doesn't seem how to keep the football in his hands. So he's got to go. Anthony Grant, even with his fumbling tendencies, is the best runner on our team. So, I don't know, try and use Stickum or something. Nah, just kidding. We'll probably not start him because that rule culture thing. But yeah. Other players need to catch the ball as well. Later into the game, they just stopped giving a crap about catching the ball for reasons beyond me. And it's just disappointing. Like, congrats to Colorado. You won more games this year than last year, which is something that you can't take away from Colorado. The fact that they've won games, which is something that they haven't really experienced. And with California going on the up and up as well, it's going pretty well. But like I said, Nebraska is not a tough opponent anymore. We used to be. We used to be a tough opponent. Even if teams were extremely good, we still try for a quarter. We'd still have an offense. But now we don't. We don't have an offense. We have a defense that's suffering. And that's it. The D-line? I think that D-line could be top 10 FBS. I mean, I'm not confident in him. Like, they got to the quarterback. They got pressures. They made the quarterback move around in the pocket. Made him move out of the pocket to get absolutely mauled. But a great D-line doesn't create championships anymore. A great offense does. The last time that a defense has won a championship for a team was probably Oklahoma in the 2000s. Otherwise, there's nothing. Well, I guess also maybe like the U in the 2000s, early 2000s. So here's you go to that, but now it's all offense. You gotta go and try and score 60 points a game. And Nebraska can't even get 15. 15! We're having a worse offense than Iowa. Like, sure, Iowa's been facing, like, lesser opponents, but we have less amount of points than Iowa. Iowa. A team that is having to make their offensive coordinator sign a contract where he has to score a certain amount of points to keep his job. And they're failing that, and they're having a better offense than Nebraska. It's just I can't understand it. I want this team to win. I really want this team to win because it brings joy to the state of Nebraska. Volleyball does that too, but football would do that even more. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. We haven't been to a bowl game in many years. We haven't won a bowl game since we were under 500. And we haven't done anything to prove ourselves worthy since that 9-0 start. Ever since then, it's been a falling apart. If this is truly rock bottom, then I hope that going up will be an ascension and not going back down. Because I don't know. I don't know why, what is happening? What is going on in the background? But hey, we didn't lose by one score, so thank goodness, because the pressure would have been just too much. But, Colorado, you go ahead and try and win games. I'm sure you'll at least make a bowl game. I'm sure you'll make it, unlike a certain other team that borders you. And now we'll have to move on to NIU with questions at quarterback, at running back, and maybe even wide receiver. Because, holy crap, it really makes me question everything. Like, what is going on? But I can't do anything about it. I don't have any control over this team. But I sure do hope, and I sure do hope that this team can score points and can win football games. And I'll be happy as can be. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, please, for me.